Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Carolina Nexus podcast. I'm a little bit early, I know, but I want to bring you guys in. Go ahead and be ready. The show isn't scheduled to start for the next 30 minutes, but I want to go ahead and get it ready. So at 10 o'clock, I will officially start the show. But as of right now, I'm just waiting for viewers to get online. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make this the most successful launch of a podcast ever. Now, I will admit that things change for this podcast, this episode, and we'll get into that at 10 o'clock. This is just to give people time to come on in, let you see some of the stuff we have going on today. I am the master of rolling with the punches and throwing out the book that I had planned because it's like Captain Cold said: you make a plan, you follow the plan, everything goes off the rails. Make a new plan. So that's what I had to do today. I am excited to be here with the Carolina Nexus podcast. Supposed to be with me and my daughter today at 5 p.m. Life happened. She's at a doctor's appointment right now, so she'll be joining us later. After the doctor's appointment, we're here to talk about hometown justice. We're here to talk about Casey Elkins, and we're here to talk about the story, the lore behind the story, how it got started. Ladies and gentlemen, before we jump into that, though, I have a couple of mentions that I want to come on here and do, starting with all of my paid sponsors, like Dubby. W.GG is the website you go to. You order your energy drink mix and use the coupon code Caro Nexus to get 10% off your order. It's a delicious energy drink, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait till my package arrives for me to do a live on screen testing. Give you guys an example of what we're going with. I'll tell you the flavor. I'll tell you how much I'm using. It's a great energy drink. It doesn't have the crash out of like a Monster or um, a Venom or any other type of energy drink you could think of. It does not have that crash out. W Energy is the way to go. Um, so, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you get a chance, check them out. What the heck? That's not what I wanted to happen. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. But today, the reason we're here is for these books, ladies and gentlemen. I have written them all in chronological order from left to right. Enter the Tygapagon, Enter the Tiger, Hometown Justice Homecoming, Hometown Justice Rebellion, Hometown Justice Aftermath, The Idol, Casey Elkins investigation, and The Daywalker, a Casey Elkins investigation. They're the reason that this whole podcast came about. But before we dive into that stuff, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into our affiliates, beginning with my friend Trey Smith, Michael Smith on Facebook. His game store, Gamers Dream Haven. Go by there for all your retro gaming needs, ladies and gentlemen. He's great. He has impeccable knowledge when it comes to retro gaming. I wouldn't send you to him if I didn't trust him, but I've known Trey since 2003, and I may make him mad. I know him as Trey. I don't know him as Michael. So Trey Smith, ladies and gentlemen, go check him out. It'll be amazing. My friend Cynthia's got her clean team. Give her a call for all your household cleaning needs. She'll do a great job. She'll do it affordable. She'll make it worth your while. I promise you, Cynthia will not lead you wrong. The Lady Hawks youth softball team, Coach Ashley Gann, one of my personal friends since 2005. She is taking these ladies on a journey, giving them the discipline needed. I think it's an amazing thing. And now we got Garden of Eden Photography. Garden of Eden Photography did Amber's maternity pictures when she was pregnant with Tyson, and those came out amazing. Eden is an amazing photographer, and she does an amazing job. I just can't thank her enough for what she did for us for those maternity shoots. And hopefully one day Amber will let me share those pictures on here on Carolina Nexus to give an example of her work. Eye Catching Customs, ladies and gentlemen, go there for all your custom merchandise. Diverse Tax Solutions It's tax time, ladies and gentlemen, and Shanez will not steer you wrong. Diverse Tax Solutions. After doing your taxes, you're gonna feel a little bit hungry. Also, talk to Shanez about Little Daddy's Barbecue and Mo. Impeccable food, a great chef. Ladies and gentlemen, you will not be disappointed. You will not leave unsatisfied. That man can cook. Style and James Boutique, live on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. She will make you some custom merchandise. She will do her best to get it to you in a timely manner and at affordable prices. And this one's close to my heart. Spencer Code Books, Coffee, and Gifts. They allowed me last year to hold a book signing event at their store. My opinion, it could have been better, but it was very successful for what I did. It was no fault of Spencer and companies. It was all Amazon that did that. But hey, they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They're not going to take responsibility for their issues. Spencer and Co. did great, and I plan on using them again as soon as I'm able to get everything together for a book signing event. Um, there's a few other places that I want to advertise for before we jump in. Um, hashtag truth. Scott Larson is my producer. He's the host of this show. And when it returns, when he is ready for it to return, hashtag truth will bring you the best podcast this side of the Mississippi, ladies and gentlemen. Go check him out when he returns. Be on the lookout for that. Now, the reason we're all here, the Hometown Justice Books. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a trip for me. To be as mildly successful as an author as I am, I'm just a nobody from a little backwoods town on Highway 226 in Cleveland County, North Carolina. That's where I was raised till my family uprooted, moved to Blacksburg in 2003. So again, both of the cities both of the towns that I had lived in are just map dot towns. You wouldn't think anything of them. So for somebody like me to be as mildly successful as I have been as an author, it's amazing. Um, I just realized that I forgot one of my affiliates. Let me pull them up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, check out TCW Top Championship Wrestling, January 24th, 2026 at the historic Shelby City Park. Doors open at 6, bell time 7. Tune in for that high octane, high impact, high velocity wrestling that we all know and love. Shelby City Park holds a special place in my heart because it's where I watched my first independent show, and it made me fall in love with wrestling all over again. Go check them out, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you will not be disappointed with TCW. I know the owner. I know she's busting her ass to make this work. Go check her out. Shelby City Park, January 24th. Now, to the main event of the show, ladies and gentlemen, I have decided we're going to discuss these books one by one, and we're going to do this in a very unique way. I'm going to start by telling you the story of how they came to fruition. It may be a boring story, but bear with me; it gets entertaining. So, 2003, my family moved to Blacksburg, South Carolina, from Pokeville, uprooted me. I did not want to leave. Um, I was against the whole idea altogether. Um, and I think the only reason that I wanted to stay in Pokeville was I had this notion that I wanted to graduate from my family's, not my family's. I wanted to graduate from where my mom graduated from. She graduated from Burns High School in Lawndale, North Carolina. I wanted to do that. God had other plans for me. So we uprooted. We moved to Blacksburg 2003. And I was only able to escape reality through video games or by writing. And luckily, Blacksburg offered a creative writing class that talked about expanding characters, crafting characters to works. And I was very happy for that class. I'm not sure if they still offer the class, but they did at the time. I had some really great mentors and teachers through those years at Blacksburg. Coach Elliott, he wasn't my creative writing teacher. He was my U.S. history and economics teacher, but he motivated me to do my best. Mr. Lynn Wilkins, my math teacher, Anyway, I'm getting off subject here. During the creative writing class, we had a assignment, and the assignment was to take a movie or TV show or another book, delete all the characters from it, and add your own. And I was one of those kids that didn't really care for movies in 2006. Um, so I didn't watch the movies that were in the now. I watched older movies. Uh, I was into the '90s action flicks, Demolition Man and Blade, those types of movies. I didn't watch the movies that were in theaters. I wasn't interested in them a whole lot. And mind you, this was in the spring of 2006, so we'll get to that in a minute. So I had watched um, Walking Tall, the Buford Pusser story, the original trilogy, not the Rock remake or the Kevin Sorbo remake. At this point, I had watched the original. My aunt, uncle, Kevin, and Barbara, they had the DVD set. I watched them at their house. Went to school, got this assignment, called up Aunt Barb, was like, "Hey, can I borrow that DVD set?" And she let me borrow it to do this school project. And so for a whole weekend, I did nothing but watch those movies to figure out how to bring the characters out and put my characters in. Good morning, KC Luchador. Thanks for joining us. So as I'm writing these characters and replacing them with people that I know, no, I didn't do that yet. That was not yet. Hold on, getting ahead of myself. As I'm replacing these characters with characters that I wanted to put in there, a story took place, and I didn't just stop with the human characters. I replaced the setting. I did everything. Um, it was a very rough story. It was a very rough story. Sorry about that interruption. Um, but it was good enough for me to turn in to my teacher and get a grade on it. Made the computer I had at the time was great. It was an old hand-me-down laptop that I got at a discounted price, but spring of 2006, it did the job for me. It got me through that. Go through the summer, and I'm looking at this document that I had, and I wanted to expand the story. So I started expanding it. And as I expanded it, the characters that I used needed to be replaced with people that were more believable, more realistic, more down to reality, grounded. So I went in and redid the whole structure again, started from scratch. The one character that stayed the same was the main character, Sergeant Alexander Graham Ruler, who started out as a sergeant. Then I dropped him down to a gunnery sergeant in the modern, the release that the public got. Um, and that was because I had more access to research for that position in the military, in the Marines. And gunnery sergeant Alexander Graham Ruler became, you know, a staple of this book series. He was me. He was based off me. I made the character off of me. He was the me I wanted to be because as a young author, I was, for lack of a better word, I saw myself as weak, and this character of Alex Ruler was the character I wanted to be. Always going in and out for his family, doing what was right, being resilient, being strong. That was what I wanted to be, and I felt like I was weak. So I took the characteristics of myself, the flaws that I saw, and made this character. Initially, his name was just Alex Ruler. Well, as the writing process went along, I had to give him a name, a full name, Alexander Ruler, and then the name Graham came from playing Resident Evil 4. I don't know why I decided to use the president in Resident Evil 4's last name as my character's middle name, but it stuck. Resident Evil 4 was a great game. Justin Balderas and I played that religiously through my high school years, and we stay competitive with it. More on Justin Balderas later. Um, but back to the story. So I started writing, and I started needing characters that were realistic and grounded. And I spoke with a guidance counselor at school, Mr. Transu, and Mr. Transu told me of an author friend of his that based his characters off people he knew, and that idea stuck with me. And then I realized I know so many people, and I started jam packing them into the book. Started out as an Easter egg, but as each quote unquote Easter egg took shape, the book took shape. As the book took shape, the story called for more parts. So I ended up creating the golden trio of my books. That would be Alex Ruler, Taekwondo, and Ken Manson. And Taekwondo was a play on words, a homage to my favorite manga author Akira Toriyama. Taekwondo is a martial arts. So I took his name, or I took that martial art name and turned it into a human name, spelled Tai Tai, Kwando Kwondo. Put it in my book. So Ty's name became Tyson Kwando as a full name, Ty for short. Uh, and as I explore his backstory in the prequel, threequel, you will come to learn that Ty's entire family, the male side of the family, was named after martial arts. Again, another homage to my favorite mangaka, Akira Toriyama. He used a play on words to name his characters. Um, so as I'm building the setting and these characters, I realized I had to take a lot of creative liberties with my community. I said it in Pokeful because I knew more about Pokeful at the time than I did Blacksburg or Cherokee County in general. So Pokeful was the setting. There was not many places in Pokeful I couldn't get you to. Still not many places in Pokeful I can't get you to, which is why I used Pokeful as the setting for my book series. Um, Something happened over the summer of 2006. My laptop crashed and I lost everything I had worked on. All I had was the hard copy I turned into the school. At that point, it took a back seat. I didn't really think about writing until fall 2006 when my teacher asked me, the creative writing teacher I had the previous school year, asked me if I had done anything with the writing, and I told her no. She said, I think you should pick it back up and keep working on it. So I did. I picked it back up. At this point, I had another computer, um, worked on it. 27 chapters in, and many, many months passed. My daughter was born in 2007. A rewrite occurred because in 2006, October 2006, a very peculiar movie hit the theaters. Good morning, Susan. How are you doing? This is Susan from Bliss Days Salon and Spa. Go check her out, ladies and gentlemen. If she can't help you with with your self care needs, her team can, or they can point you in the right direction to find who can help you. So, a peculiar movie hit theaters in October 2026 or 20. Good grief, 2006, October 2006. A peculiar movie hit theaters. I wanted to go see it, but I didn't have the money to go see it. So February of 2007, my best friend Vinny Ryman, who also appears in the book, you'll check him out. We'll get to that discussion later. But Vinny Ryman hits me up. Hey, bro, I want to take you to see a movie for your birthday. It's all I can do for you. Be ready on this date. I'll pick you up. We'll go. And he did. He took me to the AMC theater in Shelby at the Shelby Mall. We watched John Cena in his first movie, The Marine, and the opening sequence of The Marine played a big role in shaping how I wanted to do the character of Alex Ruler's introduction to the world. So I took that scene, modified it, modified it, rewrote it, modified it, added the details that weren't added to the movie, made it my own, and paid homage to John Cena's movie The Marine, and let it be known like that I was a fan, and that became the prologue of Hometown Justice Homecoming. A little Easter egg, and that started my Easter egg fascination with adding stuff for people to find in my books. My wife says it's because I play video games, and I love the Easter eggs I find in video games to other video games. But no, it really had nothing to do with that. It was I wanted to pay homage to that movie, and I did it. So moving forward from there, I created a whole cast of characters. And mind you, at this point in time, this is 2007. Hometown Justice Homecoming wasn't even the name of the book, it was just Hometown Justice. And that, in part, is because I didn't plan on making more books. It was never in the works for me to make more books. It was never part of the plan. I made a promise to my grandmother and my mom at 5 years old that I was going to be a published author because I love to read. And then I did it. That was going to be the end of it. We'll get more on that subject after I get further down the timeline. Just know that between 2007 and 2020, a lot of stuff happened that prevented me from releasing the book. Um, I had a publishing company that was going to do it. I was going to use my tax money to fund it. Paid $250. That company fell in. I didn't get my money back. That discouraged me. An ex girlfriend I had encouraged me, so I started writing again. And it when she broke up with me, I lost everything I'd been writing on. I don't remember if it was because I was heartbroken and just deleted everything, or what the reason was behind that. But I had to start over again. Amber and I got together in 2013, and it wasn't until 2015 that I actually started writing again. She discovered Hometown Justice on my computer. This time I had gotten smart and saved it to Google Documents. Um, but Amber found it, and she's like, "It's unfinished. You need to finish this. I want to read more." And she was the first person that wasn't blood related to me to take notice, to want to read more of what I had wrote. So um, she encouraged me to write more. 2016 happened, and during 2016, Amber gave birth to our son Riley. She went through some medical issues after birth. I went through a depression, um, because here I wasn't sure if she was going to live because of her medical conditions. Uh, had a baby that I didn't know how I was going to survive. I went through a depression, and my family my family supported me during the time. Like, they were there for me to help with the baby and make sure I had somebody to watch him while I was at work. But I think for the most part, they just didn't understand what I was going through, the emotions I was feeling, and I didn't know how to convey them to people, not without it coming out as anger. So that happened. Amber survived by the grace of God. She survived. Um, she came out, and there was a period of time where it was uncertain if we were going to survive that period, as in a couple. Outside forces made it hard for us to coexist, and I desperately needed her support to continue writing because she was the one that encouraged me. And even if she didn't remember encouraging me at the time, because that was a whole other story for a whole other time, I needed my wife. And she wasn't my wife at the point, but we'd been together long enough. I needed her. And again, certain members of my family just didn't understand this. They didn't understand why I felt compelled to do the things I did in 2017, 2016, 2017. We're going to skip ahead again, 2019. I was messing around on Google, and I found Kindle Direct Publishing, got in contact, uploaded my manuscript. They connected me with an editor. The first editor I had through Kindle Direct Publishing did not did not like my writing style. Did not like that I wrote the way I talk. So by that I mean I use the words ain't, I use the word y'all in my writing. I write very southern. There's a reason my favorite anonymous Amazon review is this person read the book and said that they felt like they were reading Dragon Ball Z if it were written by a redneck. There's a reason it felt like that. It's because I write the way I talk. No fault of my own, no fault of anybody's. By the grace of God, I was raised Southern. I talk Southern. I write Southern. And if you don't like that, it's not your cup of tea. You got to pick up my book. That's how I feel about it. Anyways, back to the story. So when I got the second editor, because the first editor said he couldn't deal with somebody who talked and wrote Southern, they sent me another guy. This guy was from Tallahassee, Florida. I'm not allowed to say his name, but I consider him a friend because he and I do talk on a constant basis about my books. But he read the original draft of Hometown Justice and said, "Brother, you have a lot of material here. Let's divide this one book into three. Do you think you could pump out three books? Do you think I could pump out three books?" He said, "Talk it over with the wife and find out." So at this point, Amber and I were married. We got married in 2017. 2019, Amber and I were married. Editor says, "Talk it over with the wife, see if I can pump out three books." Spoke with Amber. She said, "Yes, you could do three books. I believe in you." Contacted him again. We plotted out three books. Started writing the first book with his suggested edits to make it more linear, to make it make more sense. Because the original draft was very rushed. The original draft had a lot of details in it that didn't make sense. And here we are. So I completed the very first rewrite of Hometown Justice. And again, the original name for the first book of this trilogy was going to be Hometown Justice Homecoming. Finished the rewrite. He read it. He says, "Brother, it's going to sound crazy. You still got a lot of material. Let's do let's do three trilogies. Think you can manage that?" Let me talk to the wife. Talk to the wife. And Amber tells me that she supports the decision to write three trilogies. So we sat down and we plotted out nine books. I'm not going to give Spoilers for the rest of the series of Hometown Justice, but the first three books were entitled Hometown Justice Homecoming, Rebellion, Aftermath. So I didn't choose those working titles, but I liked the way it flowed, and I went with it. Hometown Justice Homecoming was published on June 28th of 1990, June 28th, 2020. There are a lot of mistakes in this episode, you guys. It's unedited, it's raw, it's live. But there's an issue with Hometown Justice Homecoming, the book itself. And I'm going to show you. This is the paperback and hardback cover of Hometown Justice Homecoming. Now, because I am published through Kindle Direct Publishing, I am able to have an ebook that you can download on your Kindle. For some reason, this is the Kindle ebook cover of Hometown Justice Homecoming. I don't know why. I don't know what the reasoning is behind this, but Hometown Justice Homecoming is the first book in my series to be released. It's not the first chronological book. If you want chronological order, you got to read Tagapagon Enter the Tiger. We'll get to that shortly, but this is the book that started it off. Hometown Justice Homecoming follows Alexander Graham Ruler being released from the military, going home to Popeful. His plans are to surprise his friends and family and move forward with his life. In the book, he says to get his civvy legs back. So that was the plan. And it didn't happen for him. Fate had other plans in mind. But he reconnects with his old friends, Ty and Ken, his high school sweetheart, Allison. And there's a whole traumatic backstory released in a flashback. And for a while, my wife, her favorite thing to do was to say she hated certain things almost as much as she hated the character of Allison Jurgens. And another friend of mine wanted to start the Allison Jurgens hate club. But I promise you guys, the person that Allison Jurgens is based off of is not that way in real life. And when I cover her character in an episode, I'll do my best to bring the person she's based on onto the show so you guys can see the differences. But I highly encourage you to read the books before we dive into these character profiles. They're available on Amazon. I'll put the link below. This is the link to my author page. Check it out and go from there to order all the books. They're all available on Amazon now. So, in the process of writing Hometown Justice Aftermath, I was presented with the opportunity to introduce a new character, and I took it. I didn't know that my books were being given to a test group until Aftermath, and the new character I introduced in Aftermath did so well with the test group. My editor called me and said, "Hey, I don't want to put more on you can handle. Can you write a book based around this new character?" Sure, I can do that. So I did. I went and took that book and did what I had to write the series, which led to the spinoff of the Casey Elkins series. We'll get more into those at a later time. Today, we're going to focus on Hometown Justice Homecoming and why things happened the way it happened. Hometown Justice Homecoming is essentially homage to Buford Pusser, and The Rock, because he did his version of the Walking Tall movies in 2007, 2008, where he played a character named Chris Bond, and I took some story beats from both, made them my own, and moved on with my life. The characters were all based on people I know, down to the villains, side characters, the main characters, all based on people I know. So yeah, there was a lot of things circulating that happened that made it possible for me to do the things I did in the books. And again, I took a lot of creative liberties. Um, Most notable, Hopeful does not have a casino near it. At the time, it really didn't. Now, present day, 2026, there's the Two Kings Casino in Kings Mountain, but even that's a good drive from Hopeful. Um, if I could draw a map, the Wild Cherry Casino, as mentioned in my books, would be on Hollis Road in Hopeful, for those of you that are native to the area. I added a martial arts school, Kwando School of Martial Arts. It was on Main Street, Hopeful. And if you're familiar with Main Street in Hopeful, you know where the new fire department is. Before the new fire department was built, there was a little video rental store called Go Video there. Then there was the fire department, and then there was another building that was torn down. Um, it was used as a sports utility vehicle building for Hopeful High School, and that is the building that I used to base Kwando's on initially. Then the rewrites happened, and had to make Kwando's bigger because he had to have more students. So yeah, initially it was supposed to be between Pokeful Fire Department and Pokeful High School. Because in my books, Pokeful High School was never unsanctioned by Cleveland County Schools. It was never shut down. It still exists, and I could not find a whole lot of information on Pokeful High School, so I took creative liberties with it. I didn't know what their mascot was. I gave them the Wolverines. Nerd, because Wolverine is my favorite Marvel character. I wanted to pay homage to him. I did. Um, so I did that through naming the schools. Uh, and you can really tell who keeps track of things in Cleveland County when you try to do research for a book, because you can find nothing about schools that have shut down. Um, because another family member suggested that I use Piedmont School's mascot for Popeful since I was taking creative liberties. Good morning, Mama. Doing? This is, ladies and gentlemen, is the owner of TCW. She will guarantee you have a good time out there at Shelby City Park on the 24th. But when I went to do the research for it, there's no record. There's a record of how many kids attended Piedmont High School. There's a record of how many kids attended Popeful High School. There's no record of mascots, of sports teams, of anything. It's almost like they didn't exist. And I didn't want to use Burns Bulldogs for the simple fact that I was still hurt from not being able to graduate from Burns. Got to remember, this was written during my high school years. I was still upset with my mom and dad for not letting me graduate from Burns. So I didn't want to use Burns Bulldogs for Pokeful. I gave them the high school mascot of the Pokeful High School Wolverines. Um, and it just took a life of its own at that point. And then I had uh, the wood mill. The wood mill is Davini's mill, Davini Salvage in Pokeful, but I moved it. It's no longer in the center of town. It's on the outskirts of town along railroad tracks. Those of you that know there's no railroad tracks that go through Pokeful. There's not a cliff that overlooks the town. I added those things in. So, and then there was the addition of the Reese's Gas and Go, one of my favorite creations for the entire series because I had so many people going, "What are you talking about? There's no Reese's Gas and Go in Pokeful. Why? Why did you do that?" And if you read the series, you'll find out why. I'm not giving spoiler alerts, but the Reese's Gas and Go is a, an auto body shop and a gas station that I created, and in the grand scheme of things, it fits in to where Jerry's Mini Mart is now in Hopeful. Um, Jerry's Mini Mart doesn't exist in my universe. The petroleum world doesn't exist in my universe. Watts gas station exists, but it's not a gas station. It's just a diner. Because Watts has had the great food, y'all. I'm serious. If you never had a chance to eat there, you missed out on something wonderful. But Watts Diner lives on in my books. It's just not a gas station and diner combo. It's just a diner. I'm showing my age because a lot of people that are younger than me don't know Watts Diner. But that's a different story. Um, and then, uh, the Pokeful Park has appeared several times. The Rollerama skating rink, it's no longer there, but I paid homage to it. It was a good hangout from many, many times in my childhood growing up. Fond memories of going there playing Turtles in Time on the arcade machine. Um, Another liberty I took, instead of Bridges Dairy Road, which is the road I grew up on in Pokeful, I changed it to Ruler Farm Road, and I moved it. The Ruler Farm Road is further out Stagecoach Trail. It's on the outskirts of Pokeful. And great grandpa Ruler owned a bunch of land out there, and it was passed down through generations. I don't say exactly how much land he owned, just know it's a very big plot of land. Um, and it works for the context of the story. I added the Summers Hardware More store, character based off a friend of mine from Blacksburg, Adam Summers. The character's name is Alan Summers because at the time Adam didn't give me permission to use his name, so I went with Alan Summers, kept his first name, first initial in his last name. Alan Summers Hardware and Freight, not Hardware and More, Hardware and Freight. And that one replaces the company of Bingham's Hardware, and that is because I could not get permission to use Bingham's Hardware. Um, took creative liberties, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I took creative liberties with my work. It's an author's responsibility to create as much as they can to make the world their own. And I personally felt that the creative liberties I took made it more entertaining. So there's that. Um, so anybody watching familiar with the Pokeful area? If you are, comment below. If you have any questions, comment below. That's what this show's about, guys. You can come on and ask me questions about my books. You can catch them at the link scrolling across the bottom of the page. That is my author page on Amazon, and it will let you order all of my books. And if you have Kindle, the ones that are available on Kindle will be on there as well. Check them out. Oh, so moving forward with the story, I sat down to write the story as my version of Walking Tall and changed a bunch of things that happened. The biggest challenge for me was taking what I had already written and turned it into 9 books. And when I broke it down into arcs, like an anime or a comic book or what have you would do, it made it easier. The first arc is the first trilogy. It starts in Hometown Justice and it ends in Aftermath. It ends with it, it focuses on the conflict between two people. Hey, Miss Blue, you must be talking about the building that I was saying Quandos is based off of, or Rollerama. I can't remember which one you're talking about, but everybody knows Rollerama skating rink. Everybody knows Watts's. If unless you're younger than me, you don't know shit. But because I know some people that are younger than me that don't know Watts's, and it kind of worries me about the future of our people that don't know that place, especially if you lived in Popeville your whole life. But that's beside the point. I took some liberties. I'm happy with the liberties I've taken. So the first arc, the first trilogy, deals with the conflict between the main characters and the first antagonist that I introduced, which is a character by the name of Thomas Leons. And I'm not going to reveal too much about it, but Thomas Leons wants to burn Hopeful to the ground and rebuild it in his image. He states that several times throughout all three books that he is a part of. And in the beginning of the book, he has purchased a lot of places in Hopeful. He's essentially this rich, spoiled brat that thinks he knows what's best for the economy. So he's trying to fix businesses. I would love to be able to tell you how the altercation with Alex and Tommy happens, but don't reveal too much. Um, but it's a great scene, and I would love to reveal it to you guys. I probably will about 10 episodes in, give everybody time to read the books. Um, let's see. I'm gonna take off the link to find my books. We're gonna go and I'm gonna show you some upcoming episodes, and then we're gonna do my news section because I have some news to share with you guys before the show is over. Um, thanks for the interactions that have happened. I appreciate you guys so much. Share this video, share it out to your friends. Let them know the next show will be Thursday night, 10 p.m. live on Facebook. Um, and we'll go more into more detail about what that will entail after the news segment. So you guys hear the upcoming episodes again. I will run through the ticker one more time to showcase um, the sponsors, and then we will go to the news segment. Okay. Once more, W Energy is my primary sponsor of this show. Order yours online at w.gg and use the coupon code Nexus for 10% off your order. I guarantee you will love this energy drink. There's no crash. There's no burnout. It's all natural. You can control the intensity of the flavor. It's there. And I encourage you guys to try it. I've ordered a second package because I tried it before I sponsored with them. And as soon as it comes in, I'll be doing the on-screen testing for you guys to show you and tell you my personal opinion of the flavors. So don't think I'm not going to show it on screen me using the product that support me because I will. I just have to wait for my second box to come in. I used the first box and it was amazing. Got me through some tough times at work. I know my boss lady C&D kept asking me how I have this energy, and it's all thanks to W. I did it with W. So I highly, highly, highly suggest trying W, guys. Okay, guys, I'm gonna roll the next footage. We're gonna go straight to the next segment of the show. Bear with me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Nexus News. Our top story for today: Hometown Justice Hostile. The fourth installment in the Hometown Justice series is set to be released March of 2026. Myself and the editor have been playing Pong with the manuscript, but we have finally agreed on a final version and are preparing for release as of this broadcast. In other news, the third installment of the Casey Elkins series has just finished its primary draft, and now will begin the expansion stage of adding in plot details and writing the chapters. More updates as these become available. Also, I promised you in the test runs that I will be letting you guys know how to enter a contest, and I'm about to show you right now across the bottom of the screen. There will be a Cash App that you can do. You can send the entry fee to, and that Cash App will feature, where's it at? The ability to enter a chance to win all three books in the Hometown Justice series. You're gonna get all three of them. They will be signed by myself and my co-host Caitlin if you want her to sign them. And if you're local, I'll get them to you. I'll bring them to you personally. If you're not local, I will pay the shipping fee to deliver them to you. But let me get everything situated and sent to you. So I'm putting it on screen here because apparently it got deleted. Give me just one moment. And I'm having to limit the entries due to um, me. So, and what I'll do is once this contest is closed, I'll do a show, spin the wheel, and the winner's name will be pulled from the wheel. I don't have a number of slots. I'm just limiting how many entries you can have in the show or in the contest. So each person can enter 4 times, but you got to pay per entry. This is the information you send it to, and we will take care of it on our end. Caitlin and I have decided this is the best way to get books in the hands of people. So we're going to do it that direction, and I put the wrong. Hang on, let me fix this. There we go. This is more like it. Okay, so we're going to do it that way. Well, I had it right the first time. Good grief. You send your entry fee to that Cash App. I'll make sure the money goes to the right place. You will use the entry fee. Um, if you're just going to enter your name once, you send $2. If you're going to enter all 4 times, you send $8. That's how it works. But each person gets 4 entries. That'll give everybody an equal and fair chance. I'm not going to limit how many people can enter. I'm just limiting how many entries you can have. And I think 4 is a fair amount for each person, no matter, because I'm not going to have that many viewers anyway. For $2 entry fee, each person can have 4 entries. And we're going to end this contest at the end of the month. My last episode of this month will be when the deadline is, and that'll give people time to rewatch it on the replay and go from there. So thank you guys again for tuning in. This is not the end of the show. I'll show this information again at the end. One more time, I'm going to go through my sponsors. TCW, Top Championship Wrestling, presents New Year's Mayhem, January 24th, 2026. Doors open at 6, bell time 7 at the historic Shelby City Park. Go out for that high octane, high impact, high velocity wrestling we all know and love here in the Carolinas. Spencer and Co. Book Company, the people behind my first book signing event. Ladies and gentlemen, go check them out for all your book needs in South Carolina. They're located in Gaffney. Go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Style and James Boutique here on Facebook for your custom needs, custom merchandising needs, diverse tax solutions. It's tax time, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let the stress kill you. Let Chinez help you out. And I know talking about all that money gonna make you hungry. So check out Little Daddy's Barbecue and Mo. He will feed you. Make sure you do not leave disappointed. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Eye catching customs. My boy Cody will can make any prop you want. If he can't, he will figure out how to do it. Go check him out. Garden of Eden Photography, ladies and gentlemen. My friend Eden is a amazing, very amazing photographer, and I cannot say that I'm more proud of anyone that I am of her because she is doing the thing. You will not be disappointed with your pictures. She gets the right angles, the right lighting. She knows what she's doing behind the camera. She's very friendly in front of the camera. For all your photograph needs, go talk to Eden. Also, show a little bit of support to the Lady Hawks youth softball team. They're going for the championship this year with the intensity of the Hawk. I plan on having them, the coaches, come on the show at a later date, and we're going to do this thing and interview them, see what their goals are, which we all know their goals become champions. See where we can watch the games, where we can catch the games online. We'll get all that information when the coaches are on the show. My friend Cynthia, there's her phone number. Call her for the clean team. She'll come out. She'll clean your house. She'll clean your car. She'll do it at an affordable rate. Ladies and gentlemen, Cynthia is the best. Give her a call. For all your retro gaming needs, Gamers Dream Haven, Trey Smith and his wife Melissa will take care of you. They will do everything in their power to get you what you are seeking if they do not already have it. Bliss Day Salon and Spa, ladies and gentlemen, they are your go-to in Cleveland County for all your self-care needs. Take you a mental health day. Go see Susan and her team and get all that self-care you need, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, the main reason we are here for the Carolina Nexus, the Hometown Justice and Casey Elkins book series, collectively known as the Carolina Nexus. That's the name of the shared universe these books take place in. Check them out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to stick around for a little bit longer, see if anybody wants to come on and ask me some questions. See what we got going on, guys. I've talked for over an hour now. Gave you a little bit of backstory into the creation of these characters in this universe. You guys can ask the questions now, and I will answer them. It's time for the question and answer part of the show. Anybody at all will come on and ask a question. Comment below, and I will answer it. I am live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see what you got, guys. Come on. Nobody? Nobody. Really? Really? That's how you feel? Okay, okay. Well, let's go talk about some other stuff then. Um, let's talk about Carolina Nexus After Dark, my raw, uncut, unfiltered talk show that I will do periodically. It's not going to be set in stone every week, but it's there for me to talk about anything and everything. The only thing we don't talk about on there is politics, because, ladies and gentlemen, I hate politics. But we'll talk about anything, everything at your convenience. Tune in. The next show will be happening pretty soon. I'm sure of it. Let's see. Nope. It's not what I wanted. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like I don't have any questions for the question and answer segment of the show. So we're going to move right on along. I promised you in the in the test shows that I would spin a wheel that has the list of characters from the Hometown Justice series in it. There are 46 characters in the first book, and I realized that all of these characters appear in the first three books. Nobody knew, so we're just going to stick with these characters, and I will when a character name is chosen, we'll discuss the book they show up in, their importance to the story, and if they are recurring main or side characters. Let's go with this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and get this brought up. We're going to do this right now. All right, we're going to spin to find out the next episode which character we're going to talk about. Spinning it now. Bobby DeRisi will be the next character we talk about. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the thing that we do because hang on, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Technical difficulties. Give me a second. There we go. And I'm back. There we go. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I've never done that before in a live broadcast. So we'll be discussing Bobby DeRisi, his nickname Bobby Boy, on the next episode of Carolina Nexus. We'll give you some details about him, his importance to the story, who he's based on, and we'll go from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, since there's not a whole lot of interaction going on, I'm vacating the premises. You guys have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. For the ones that tuned in, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next episode, Thursday night, 10 p.m., live Facebook and YouTube.